was so contented and bearing hardships that sometimes they used to live on the leaves of the tree. With the prayer of the promised Messiah والسلام, and fulfilling his desire, Allah Almighty blessed him with such missionaries. Those this quality of contentment was really praiseworthy in them. Nowadays the missionaries have got so many facilities, but there was a time when these things were not available, and the financial condition of the Jamaat is much better now. By the grace of Allah, every effort is being made to take care of their needs and requirements, although there are some places where difficulties are there which we are facing. But when for the sake of religion, when for the all types of sacrifices people have offered themselves, then there is no importance of these difficulties, and there should be no such consideration at all. Today, by the grace of Allah, in Rabwa and Qadian, apart from that, in some western countries of the world, like in UK, in Germany, Canada, the Jamias are established. And as I said, from the Canada, Jamia Ahmadiyya in Canada, the first batch is coming out after qualifying, those who will be coming into the field this year. And similarly, from Indonesia and Africa, in some countries, the Jamias are established there. As the Jamias of Africa and Indonesia are concerned, they are for their local students. Those normally they qualify from there, and they are deputed there according to those who know their circumstances and they can cope with that. But the students now, those students who are coming, or those who will be coming in future from the Western Jamias in Western countries, they should remember that as a devotee of life, to whichever place they are sent or appointed and they have to go there, this is the spirit of dedication. It is not essential that they should be appointed somewhere in Europe. And those people who are living here, they might be that they are sent to Africa, and they might be getting extremely worried from the hard climatic conditions over there. But when they have devoted their life, they should be ready for all types of difficulties. As I said, now the facilities are available, and in the early period, the missionaries who went in foreign countries in the field, they had to confront a lot of difficulties. Some of the examples I have taken of those early missionaries, so that you should also realize that what sort of sacrifice they have been giving there. One of our missionary, Hazrat Shah Muhammad Sahib, was our missionary. He has mentioned one incident about himself, that for continuously 18 years I have been serving in Indonesia, and by the grace of Allah, never ever, not even once, I have begged anything from anybody. I maintained the full discipline and grace. Very modest allowance was given, and he was just making very difficultly, with great difficulty, he was making his both hands meet. He was always he said, I always pray to Allah Almighty, and he helped me. But when I was coming back, then I was very happy. I was coming by the ship. I started the journey coming back to Pakistan. I had an old Echken with me, and a pair of clothes, the trouser and the shirt, and that was old one. It was washed clean, and on the way I thought that after such a long time I am going back to my country, and I do not have even new clothes which I can put on. And when I get off at the railway station in Rabwa, and those missionaries, they used to come to Karachi first, and then by train they used to go to Rabwa. So I was thinking those things, and I was praying to Allah Almighty that I just thought that I should not even have such a desire that I should have new clothes. This is against the spirit of waqf and dedication. He said, I repented greatly to Allah Almighty for that. And after a few days, when the ship had a stopover in Singapore, on the deck I was standing I was standing there, and I saw somebody having a bundle in his hand, he was getting onto the ship. He came to the captain of the ship and asked him something. The captain sent that person to me, and he came and embraced me, and he said that he's an Ahmadi and he is a tailor himself. He said that when I read in Al-Fazl that you are coming and you will be having a stopover in Singapore, so then I had a desire that I should be offering you some present. And I had seen your pictures and I knew your size and stature. So for you, I have prepared 2 pair of clothes for you, and 1 echkan and 1 pagdi and 1 turban. I have prepared for you. I am a tailor. I offer it to you. Kindly accept it from me. So Shah Sahib says that tears came up in my eyes, that how Allah Almighty has fulfilled my desire, and He put this desire into the heart of an Ahmadi whom I didn't know, and he didn't know me as such. He says, advising the missionaries, he said that if a missionary, if they only turn to Allah Almighty and submit to Allah Almighty and never ever extend their hand to somebody else begging anything, then Allah Almighty will provide all these things from the unseen. So Allah Almighty, this is the treatment of Allah Almighty with the missionaries. Not only the missionaries, but everybody who devotes his life for the Allah. By the grace of Allah Almighty, they are seeing this example in the field of their activity even nowadays. Then Maulana Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Faragh, one of his son, has written that he was also appointed in a foreign country for a long time. He stayed there when he came. He was appointed in Hyderabad, and he was given a small house to live, and it was a very modest accommodation which was given to him. And as he had stayed in foreign country for a long time, so we were very happy that at least our father will be staying with us after long last. But the condition of the house, one of his younger brother, he told the Maulana Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Faragh, according to his understanding, he said that my father, that you request the Jamaat that they should do some repair work here, renovation work here. Maulana Faragh Sahib, he knew how to carry out his responsibility as a devotee. He very lovingly, he made all the children sit close to him, and in a very nice way, with profound wisdom and in a nice way, he explained to him how the missionaries, they have to be very modest and simple in their lifestyle, in their behavior, in their living. And he said that you have to suppress each and every desire, and avoiding any demand. That is actually the basic instruction for every devotees of life. And I wish that you should be helping me in this way. And each step of your life, you bear the hardships and please your Allah Almighty. And then Maulana Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Faragh Sahib, his son relates that he came to his father. He was retired from major in the army, and it was the desire of the children that they were all at good post, that we should be giving you something as help. So now you seek retirement so that we can help you. So when we expressed this desire to our father, so he said that I will give you the reply tomorrow. And we were very happy with this reply. And we thought that maybe that by tomorrow he will agree to it, and he would say that, okay, I agree and I come to you. But our pleasure and happiness was very temporary. Next day he told us that I am a very modest person, very humble person. And whatever you have told me yesterday, that has shaken me to the core yesterday. For God's sake, never ever tell me the same thing again. I have made a very committed covenant to my Allah that each and every breath of my as a devotee of life will be for your sake. And so much so until you call me back from this life. I'm afraid that because of your these things that you have mentioned, that there should not be any weakness in my commitment of devotion of life. So I tell you again that after this day, never ever say the same thing to me again. And after that, he stood up and always pray. Eh, And he said that always pray that I should be able to fulfill my covenant with my Allah Almighty. So these were the people who really did full justice to this quality of contentment and happiness with Allah. And then Hazrat Masih Maud says that for a devotee of life, that they should be able to bear the hardships of journeys and traveling. Sometimes difficulties are there, they should be able to bear that by going from village to village, and they should let the people know about our advent. In Africa, when in early phases of the history, when the missionaries went there, and also in India, when the missionaries used to go to preach, then they used to undergo the hardships of the journey. There was no comforts, as a matter of fact, and the provision of the journey was also not available, and there was no facilities. The money was also not available, and then that not only they underwent these difficulties, but also they faced the opposition in India and also in Africa and other countries. Maulana Nazir Ahmad Sahib Ali, there are so many examples of Maulana Nazir Ahmad Sahib Ali. When the people of the village, they rejected him, and then he spent the night in the jungle, and he sat there where a lot of mosquitoes were there, and they were very poisonous. Today, the good name of the Ahmadiyya Jamaat in Africa, which is there, and the progress, that is actually the result of the sacrifices of these saintly people. I mentioned one incident. Maulana Muhammad Siddiq Sahib Amritsari, he writes, he was also along with the Maulana Nazir Ahmad Sahib Ali. Once he was in his company, that after the Second World War, during that period in 1940, one day Maulana Nazir Ahmad Sahib Ali and myself, Maulana Siddiq Sahib Amritsari, he said that we went into a village for the tabligh, and we went there. That was 40 miles away from Freetown, and we had to go it was on the other side of the river, and we had to cross the river with the boat, in the boat. Maulana Nazir Ahmad Sahib Ali, he had conveyed the message of Islam earlier on there, and as a result of that there was opposition, and this was the second visit which they were doing it, and the people from there belonged to Fulani tribe, and they were very proud that we are Muslims, and they show their link with the Arab people. Anyway, these people went there, and among the people, many ill-founded things had been spread among the people, and these Fulani people, they had spread that, and then these people were they had committed that they would not give us any place to stay overnight there. Our purpose was only to convey the message of Islam and to message the Ahmadiyyat. That was our purpose, and to let them know the reality about it, and to the non-Muslims and to Muslim non-Christians and non-Muslims, the purpose was to convey them. So the purpose was that we should be removing the misunderstandings which have been created there after staying after a few days. We have to stay there. When we went there by boat and we reached that village in the evening, there was a plan of staying there for a few days, and we had to plan for the lectures. When we disembarked from the boat and went to the chief, and there used to be a grant which was given for the help of the visitors and the tourists, or we were given the wrong information, and we were told that the chief has gone to his farm and he hasn't come back, and the other people, the responsible people, they were totally